Alright guys, here are my top 20 keyboard shortcuts that I use all the time when I open Final Cut Pro. And make sure you stick to the end for one shortcut I think every Final Cut Pro user must know. Let's get started. So these are the video files and images in our browser, and if you want to select a part that we want, we can go to exactly that place, press I for in, and then go to where you want to end and press O for out, and it's going to select that part only. E is going to append into the storyline. Let me show you one very quick. So we have this video in our timeline. We've selected this by using the I and O, and we want to add in the timeline. When you press E, it's going to add at the end of that very video clip in the timeline. Now let me show you the Q. When I take our playhead to where we want the video to be at, then when you press Q, it's going to connect to the storyline. So with this, if you want to make all one file so we can add some effects to it, we can just select all of them, press Option G, and it's going to bring the compound clip window out. Then we can name it anything we want to name and press OK, and this is going to make it a one file. From here you can just add an effect to it. So with this, let's say if you are not happy with the compound clip and we want to break it down, we can just select that very file, press Shift, Command and G to undo that very compound clip. I use this a lot when I'm editing. So let's say if I want to make a cut at this very end when I left the scene, instead of using Command B, cutting and doing all the necessary thing, I can just take my playhead to that very side and press Option bracket close, and it's going to trim that side off. For the beginning part too, I can do that. If I want to cut this beginning part off, I can just take it there, select that file, Option bracket open, and it's going to trim the beginning side. And with this, always make sure you select that very file before pressing Option with the bracket open or bracket close. Also with the Option bracket close and open, one thing too you can do, I do it a lot. Let's say if you have 3 or 4 files in the same timeline and you want to trim the end of all of them or the beginning of all of them, you can select all the files, take your playhead to where you want the trim to happen, and Option bracket close, and it's going to trim all of them together. This is going to save you much time. So with this, let's say if you want to lift this very file from the storyline, that's our main storyline, we can just select that file, press Option, Command and arrow up, and it's going to lift from that very storyline. Then we can just place it anywhere we want to do. Also, let's say if the file is here and we want to clean it up and drop it in the main storyline, we can just select that, Option, Command, and this time around arrow down, and it's going to drop in the main timeline. With this, you're going to use it a lot in your edit. So just like this, if I want to make a cut on this very file, I can just select that, take the playhead to where I want the cut to happen, Command B, and it's going to make a cut on that very side. So just like in the timeline, if I want to make a cut here, I can just press Command B and it's going to make a cut there. But one thing about this, let's say if this file is on top of it and I want to make a cut on this file, make sure you select that. If you don't select this, what is going to happen? Command B, it's going to make a cut in the main storyline, and that's not what you want. So make sure you select that file and press Command B, and it's going to make a cut on that side. Also, let's say if you have a lot of files on top of each other and you want to make a cut on all of them, you can also select all. Make sure you take your playhead there, Command B, and it's going to make a cut on that very file. This is almost just like the previous one. So with this, let's say we have all the files here. Instead of selecting all the files and pressing Command B, we can just take the playhead there and press Shift Command B, and it's going to make a cut through all the files, also in the main story timeline. With this, you can easily zoom out or zoom in your main timeline. So this is our timeline. If I want to zoom in, I can press Command plus and it's going to zoom in my timeline. Also, if I want to zoom out, I can easily press Command with the minus sign and it's going to zoom out easily. With this, I think it applies to so many softwares out there. So let's say if I deleted this and I want it back, I can just press Command Z and it's going to return back in my timeline. So let's say if I delete this and I brought it back by using Command Z, if I want to delete it again, I can just press Shift, Command and Z to redo whatever I just did in the timeline. This is used across so many softwares out there. So with this, if I want to copy this very image, I can just press Command C and it's going to copy. Then when I go here in the timeline, Command V and it's going to paste on that very side. Also, if I just want to move it totally from here, Command X and it's going to cut from that side. Then Command V and it's going to paste on that very side. Let me drop an effect on this. So with this, Command C to copy. Instead of pasting the same image, we just want to paste this effect on this very one. We can just select that file, Shift Command V, and it's going to bring the paste attribute out. And over here, we can select exactly the effect we want to transfer onto this very file. Then we can choose one of these, maintain or stretch to fit, and then click on paste. And it's going to have the same effect just like this. And with this, you can also select multiple clips or images in the timeline. Press Shift Command V and it's going to paste on all the 8 clips that you've selected. And you can select the effects that you want to transfer into that very files and then click on paste and it's going to have the same effect on all of them. So with this, let's say we've done some effect and we want to remove a specific effect that we don't want. We can select all the files, press Shift, Command and X and it's going to bring this attribute out, remove attribute. Then we can select exactly the effect we want to remove and click on remove and it's going to remove from all of them. You can also do on individual files too. So with this, it's not going to bring out the window that we can select exactly the effect we want to paste. It's going to paste it directly to it. So let's say we have this effect on this, Command C to copy, and we want to paste the effect on this very video file. We can just press Option, Command and V and it's going to paste the effect directly to it. So this time around, it's not going to bring the paste attribute out where we can select the individual effect. If you want to remove the effect directly, we can select all the files in the timeline, press Option, Command and X and it's going to remove the effect. So with this, if let's say we don't want to see this very image in the timeline for now, we can just select that and press V and it's going to disable it. Through that, we can see the video below it. This is when we are not really sure if we want to delete it, but I just want to keep it there for a meantime. You can just do that. Then later, if you want that file to show in the timeline, you can just select that and press V and it's going to show in the timeline. You can do the same with multiple clips or videos. You can select all of them, press V and it's going to disable all of them. Just like that, you can press V and it's going to enable all the clip in the timeline. So with this, if my playhead is on this side and I want to step 10 frames forward, I can just press Shift and arrow forward and it's going to jump 10 frames forward. And if I want to go 10 frames backwards, I can just press Shift arrow backwards and it's going to jump 10 frames backwards. So let's say here, if I want the video file to freeze on this side, I can take my playhead there, press Shift H, and it's going to drop a freeze frame on that side. You can see it freezes the frame and then it's going to continue on this very side. And now the last shortcut that I think every Final Cut Pro user must know. So when you're done with your editing, you can press Command E and it's going to bring you the export file window. From here, you can choose the settings, do the necessary changes, and then click on next to export your file. And with this, it's going to bring the default export settings that you have in your timeline. If you want to change the default settings, cancel this, you can go to Final Cut Pro on the top, select settings, go to destinations, and over here we have so many destinations. You can add your own destinations on this side. Then if you want to choose one of them to be your default, you can right click on that and select make default. Then wherever you press Command E, it's going to bring the export settings, and then from here you can export your files. Now I would like to know in the comment section which ones you knew already. Catch you on the next one. Peace.